long wait is over for gamers. At its headquarters in Redmond, Washington, Microsoft has finally unveiled the newest version of its popular game console, Xbox. Microsoft shares closed down about 0.7%, indicating investors are not that enthused. Well, Mark New joins us from Silicon Valley to give us all the latest details. So, Mark, what's it looking like?
Well, pretty impressive specs, so much so that many in the industry and the techies are already calling it a game changer. It has been 8 years since the last version of Xbox, and today Microsoft showed that it had been very busy at work during that time, unveiling a product that is much more than just a game console. It's an all-in-one system, which is why it's appropriately named Xbox One.
Now let me set up the aspiration. What if a single device could provide all your entertainment? And what if that device could turn on your TV and talk to all of the devices in your living room? And what if it was always ready and connected? Well, now it's all going to begin with two simple words. Xbox On.
Xbox One essentially turns your TV into a smart TV. With voice commands, you can change channels, change inputs, and switch back and forth between games and movies. You can also split the screen so you can surf the web while you play a game or watch a movie. Xbox One also recognizes gestures and can tell who is watching, giving it the ability to make recommendations for games, movies, and music. And I'm sure that could delightfully open up the door for advertisers to better target their audience. Michelle.
Wow, so it's very intuitive. And Mark, this sounds a lot more than just a gaming device, more like an entire platform, if you will. So how is Microsoft using Xbox to branch out into other areas?
Well, it appears that Microsoft is now a content producer, and I guess you might say a TV studio too. Microsoft's 343 Industry Studio has named some big players to kick off their productions. Via video, Academy Award-winning director Steven Spielberg appeared at the event to announce he would be the executive producer of an original Halo television series based on the popular video game. It will have exclusive interactive Xbox content. Microsoft will also be investing in a new games exclusively for Xbox, pledging to release 15 titles during the device's first year on the market that are just for Xbox. And finally, Microsoft announced a partnership with the National Football League, reportedly paying $400 million to the NFL over 5 years. The big thing here is fantasy football, where fans will be able to watch the game while viewing stats and fantasy information in real time right on the same screen, and also be able to simultaneously Skype video chat and taunt their opponents when they win. And believe me, that is a very important part of the fantasy football experience. Michelle.
I am very well aware, Mark, fantasy football, that's certainly going to be very exciting for a lot of people. So when can they expect to get their hands on the Xbox? When's it hitting store shelves?
Well, that remains a bit of a mystery, as Microsoft merely said it would be available around the world sometime this year. And an even bigger question is how much it will cost. They didn't answer that question. The Xbox 360, the old version, takes 15,000 servers to power it. The new Xbox One needs 300,000 servers. So there's more power, more functions, more intelligence. Right now, we are only left to guess how much more expensive Xbox One will be. Michelle.
All right, we will soon find out. Thank you so much for that report, Mark New, joining us live from Silicon Valley. And joining us now from San Francisco with his review of the highly anticipated Xbox One is Greg Miller, editor at IGN Entertainment, an internet media and service provider that focuses on the video game and entertainment industry. Greg, thank you so much for joining us. Let's dive straight into it. Did the Xbox One live up to all the hype?
Hard to say, Michelle. It's one of those things where we're going to have to wait and see. Today they had an impressive presentation. They came out, they showed a whole bunch of cool stuff, and now we play the waiting game to see how much it's going to cost, how it's going to compare to the PlayStation 4, and what kind of games it's going to have.
Well, it's taking a bit of a different stance because it offers a complete entertainment system for the living room by integrating TV, internet, and gaming. So do you think it will be able to win over consumers to function more as a family entertainment system, if you will?
It's going to be an interesting race. It's going to take time. I think if you ask Nintendo, right, they had a huge success with the Nintendo Wii, getting that to be a family gaming system. And if you look at the numbers for the Wii U, which released last year, they are drastically down. People haven't adopted it quickly. So Microsoft at one point has to say, we are making a machine for gamers to get gamers to buy it and then show it to their families and get families to care about it.
So is this a bit of a risky move? Is the strategy a little bit controversial, given that it could alienate the core gamer by taking this mainstream approach?
It is a bit controversial. If you look at Twitter today or any social media, you see video game fans a bit offended, a bit mystified as to why so much of the presentation was about television and music and not about games. What Microsoft has done so far with the Xbox 360 is take a gaming console and turn it into a media hub, a media center for the living room, and now they're trying to flip that equation and come out of the gate and be this all-in-one media device.
What's the reason behind diversifying away from the gaming console model?
I think it's survival. If you look at what Apple's doing with the iPad, with any of their iDevices, right, they're not just a gaming machine. They're music, they're movies, they're YouTube, they're all these different things, and they're on every screen. Microsoft's trying to do that right now, both with Windows phones, with Windows 8, and now the Xbox. They understand that to survive, they can't just be gaming. That limits their scope. But if you say this is your all-in-one device, it takes TV, music, movies, everything you want and puts it in one box, then everybody can kind of get excited about something.
Well, according to data from NPD, total retail sales of video game hardware and software at U.S. retailers has fallen 13% over the first 4 months of this year. So is this part of the strategy to diversify? Will consoles like Xbox and the PS4, which are expected to go on sale, help revive the sector, or is the idea to offer more of an option, more of a range?
Oh no, they'll be here to revive the sector. I mean, I think you talked about it a second ago. This has been 8 years with the Xbox 360. By far, that is the longest generation in video game industry history. And so now looking at the next generation, people are excited for this hardware. They're going to be ready to go out and buy PlayStation 4s or an Xbox and try to figure out what the next step in our industry is. But they have to diversify because, as this generation has shown, these boxes are going to be around a long time. People have to have future proofing on their mind. I mean, think about it, 8 years ago, what cell phone were you using compared to what you have in your pocket right now?
Well, one of the things is that people are playing all of these games on their cell phones and on their mobile devices. So is the heyday of the game console standalone over?
It's something we talk about, that this might be the final generation for consoles before we move to an all-in-one box. But I think just like movies, there's always going to be an audience that wants that huge, massive experience, something that you can't get on a little phone or on a tablet, something that is so special, you will buy a specialized device for it. I think we're definitely moving away from seeing the kind of penetration the Wii had, where everyone had a Wii, everyone was playing maybe 1 or 2 games on it. That kind of changed the definition of what we thought success was on the console. And I do think we're moving back to it being a hobbyist, in an enthusiast kind of way. That's what people are going to really adopt to.
Now tell me very quickly, we don't have any word about the price. Why not?
Oh, because that would totally put it down, right? If I came out and told you how much this device was, that's all we'd be talking about right now. Can you believe that it's X hundreds of dollars? It's going to be hundreds of dollars. There's so much tech underneath the hood of both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. But right now they get to come out and say, here it is, this is everything it does, you need it in your life, and then they step back and we get to talk about how cool all this different stuff is without saying, wait a second, it's pretty expensive.
Okay, so we develop our must-have-it instinct first, and then we get hit with a bit of sticker shock. Okay, thanks so much for that insight, Greg Miller, editor at IGN Entertainment. We'll leave it there.